Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Man in a Van with a Pan. It's a very special day. I'm in Maine with my brother-in-law, Chef Nicholas Orgo, and we're having the most Maine episode ever. We got a lobster for you. So we're gonna cook this bad boy up in the van. Nick, what do we make today?
Lobster Fra Diavolo.
Okay, we're gonna spice it up with this lobster dish. Stay tuned. Chef Nicholas Orgo is the executive chef and owner of Maine Catering and Event Services up in Bridgeton, Maine. Well, thank you so much for being here. Today we are making Lobster Fra Diavolo. Tell us a little bit about this dish, Nick.
Oh, this is a classic Italian dish. It's a Fra Diavolo, which means from the devil. It's a spicy classic red sauce. Can be used with variations of proteins, and here in Maine, since lobster is our favorite dish, we decided to go ahead and make it with a lobster. First thing we're going to do today, we're going to show you how to break down a lobster, take out the meat, and finish off the dish. To save on mess here, we just got a disposable pan. Since this guy, unfortunately, won't get to be able to be boiled alive, we're going to take him out of his misery first, and then break him into some parts.
We're going to do the Highlander technique. Go through the brain.
Yep.
And then we'll cut it out.
You'll try to go about an inch back, half inch back from the eyes. You want to go center with that. Push down lightly and come across the center of the head, killing the lobster instantly. We're going to put him back in this aluminum pan. I want to absorb lots of juices. Next, we're going to take the lobster's claws, break them down, simply just twist at the joint. Then we're going to take the lobster back. Best thing to do is tilt it so we're not getting any of the juices. We want to bend the back this way. And we're going to pull out the tail.
Perfect.
Nice fresh lobster. You can see the meat is still firm. All right, clear though. You don't want any dark meat when it's coming out alive. You want the meat to be clear as possible. So also, just to get us in this pan a little more, we're going to break down the claws a little bit and just hit them at the joints.
Okay.
It'll also make for getting the meat out a little later easier. Nothing like good sharp Swiss Army knife to help you get the day done. We're going to put the tail in first. For the tail, claws, and then we're going to need some water in there. A good way to know when lobster's done, we'll show you, but lobster will be bright red. However, it's important to time your lobster, because if you overcook it, you will lose all your meat. So a whole lobster, you'll probably want to cook around 10 to 12 minutes. Okay. You don't really want to boil lobster. You want to kind of just have a little bit of steam in there, which we're going to do here. We got some nice local spring water.
About a quarter of the way up?
Yeah, about a quarter of the way up.
Because you just want it to steam, you're not trying to boil the meat.
Correct. Let's get a cover on this. You do want to keep the steam in. A little foil, tuck it underneath the edges.
All right, burner on.
Alright, we're going to let that go for a while. While we're doing that, we're going to get the sauce together. This sauce is I'm going to show you guys a great basic weekday sauce before we turn it into a Fra Diavolo. This is used in restaurants throughout all of New York City and LA. So the 4 ingredients in this sauce, not counting salt, will be a Spanish onion, fresh garlic, very important not to buy pre-chopped garlic. That stuff burns. A stick of unsalted butter. The reason we're using unsalted butter is we like to control the amount of salt. And literally the most important ingredient are our friends here imported San Marzano tomatoes from San Marzano, Italy. This is really important. They're whole plum tomatoes. Joe here is going to work on crushing them up by hand because that's the way to get the most flavor. He's going to do that while I'm going to show you guys how to prep the garlic and how to prep the onion for sauce. Alright, so the best way to get the garlic out of here, you want to take the palm of your hand and push down on the bulb of garlic. You got all the pieces here. We just need 2 cloves, although Italians don't believe you ever have enough garlic. So since our knife is rather small, we're going to take this out of its shell by simply taking the back of our palm of our hand, pushing down, and skin comes right off. Doesn't matter if it gets beat up, the reality is we're chopping it anyway.
So you just want me to mush these tomatoes up?
Yeah, just crush them up with your hand. Our lobster's steaming up in this cooker. It's bubbling. It's going to go for a few more minutes. We're probably going to be around 7 or 8 minutes at this rate.
I have the tomatoes crushing up. We got 2 cloves of garlic.
Right here.
Peeled. We're going to chop them up.
Actually, this sauce is best strained. However, we're not going to do that today. But it's good to leave the pieces big so we can take them out because really just going to kind of stew to get the flavor out. So we're just going to kind of break these up a little bit. All right, we got to have the Spanish onion. You don't want to use a red onion or a Vidalia onion. Those are too sweet. You want to use a medium-sized Spanish onion. You want to keep the root part intact. So we're going to start off by cutting off the top of the bulb here.
Now, Spanish onion, is that the same as a yellow onion?
Yeah, so they call them yellow onions, sweet onions, Spanish onions, all the same name. So we're going to take the head here. We're going to stick the knife right down through the core. Ooh, almost take off our finger. We only need half an onion for this situation. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to peel the onion by pulling back on the skin to cut it in half. We cut it down one more time, and we're going to have quarters. 2 quarters, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 can of sauce, and then we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna add butter. The lobster's been steaming away here though. Oh, this is looking pretty good actually. All right, we're looking for a bright red shell, which is what we got here. We can see now that the meat became opaque, firm again to the touch, not too weak.
It smells good though.
Yeah, it smells great. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our sauce pot together here. We're gonna get it cranking hot. A little extra virgin olive oil to start the browning of the garlic. Another pro tip is with garlic, you would like to add garlic in when the pan is cold and the oil is cold. There's so much sugar in the garlic, if you add it in hot, it's more inclined to burn. And again, when caramelizing, and with this, you don't want to use salted butter. Salt prohibits browning by pulling moisture out. It'll prohibit even browning. Then we're going to drop it down to like a medium heat. We're going to take some of these delicious hand-crushed tomatoes. I'm going to take them and I'm going to put the chunks in first. Let that start to break down.
All right, we got the sauce on. It's simmering right now. It's got to simmer for 30 minutes. Then we're going to drop the butter, simmer a little bit more. But in the meantime, we got some lobster meat to dig out.
I'm going to show you guys how to break down the infamous lobster tail. Best way to do this, you take your hand, you crush it inward,
Okay.
right? You're going to crack it that way. Then you simply take it and crack it open on the inside like this. And you got yourself one whole Maine lobster tail.
Look at that.
That was easy peasy. Just gonna simply split it down the center. Give ourselves 2 nice pieces here. We're gonna leave that right until the end to finish off. The meat that we're gonna put in the sauce is gonna come from the claws. These knuckles tend to be the hardest part to get the meat. So you also want to watch out for these little tendons inside the meat. Really not pleasant on the tongue. So we're gonna start working on the big claws. This is the crunching claw. This is the guy that you want to watch your finger out for when he is alive. All right, so the lobster's broken apart. We're going to take this lobster and just kind of break this up a little bit into some chunks. Looks good.
The sauce has been on about 30 minutes now.
So we're going to add butter now. What that's going to do is that's going to simulate the richness of the fat that you would get from meat. So we're going to take about a half a stick of butter here. Once that butter cooks in there, next thing we're only going to do is we're going to taste it for salt. All right, salt's important. Make sure when we're using salt, we use our friend here, kosher salt. But we do need salt because salt will bring out the natural flavors of things. First thing you taste for is salt, and then you want to taste for an acid level. Lemon juice or a little bit of vinegar will really bring out and brighten the flavor of really any sauce. So we're going to let that cook for a couple more minutes. While we do that, we're just going to prep our last pan to finish off this sauce. I have the 1/3 clove of garlic that I took out. We're going to use this to finish off the Fra Diavolo sauce, and we're going to turn this into a Fra Diavolo sauce. The only thing we're going to need to do that is a little bit of olive oil, a little bit more garlic, and some crushed red pepper. This is the important ingredient here. You don't want to use hot sauce, no Frank's Red Hot, no sriracha here. You want to use a really nice quality of dried crushed red pepper. Again, we're going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to crush the back of this clove. Just going to do a quick dice on this garlic, and at the same time here, also because the cold oil will extract the flavor more, we're going to add the crushed red pepper now. And I like it kind of hot. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes.
If you put too much in and it gets too hot, is there any way to mitigate that? Or?
You get a little more fat. Fat reduces heat. So the best way in this particular sauce would either to be add a little more butter, or if you wanted to, and it really wouldn't be bad, especially with the Fra Diavolo, would be add a little heavy cream.
We get a lot of tips today.
Iodized salt and margarine, get in your cabinets and throw them out. So our sauce is looking all right. We're going to do a quick taste. I need a little bit of salt. We're going to do about another teaspoon or so of salt in here.
Big difference.
Right? Yeah, it's a big difference.
Wow.
I will say this, if you burn your garlic, get rid of it. We got our pan in here. We got our sauce over here. So we have this simmering here. You can hear it starting to come up. We're going to let this go just until the garlic starts to become a little translucent. So we got some nice brown garlic, some nice brown crushed red pepper. So now we're going to add some of the sauce. Now we're kind of binding all these ingredients together. We're going to let this simmer for a little bit. Now we have a Fra Diavolo sauce. While that's simmering though, we're going to add in the claw meat. Okay. It's going to help thicken up the sauce. Going to give some of that good seafood flavor. Got a nice little spice to it.
And how's that doing?
Not too spicy. but just nice enough. You can feel the burn, back of the mouth, but you can still taste the other ingredients. Anyone can burn your mouth. We're here to generate flavor, and we got a little fettuccine that we cooked up earlier. If you have the luxury, feel free to toss it in the pan. We're gonna go for presentation here, and we're gonna build a little nest in our center of our plate.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do here is just to warm these back up. We're gonna let them sit in this sauce for about a minute. We're gonna take some of the sauce, spoon it. We got the nice chunky pieces of lobster in there.
It smells real good.
Yeah. So then we're just gonna take the lobsters and lobster tails, prop them up a little bit.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you make Lobster Fra Diavolo. Looks beautiful, smells delicious. Let's have a taste.
Absolutely.
I think, buddy. Cheers.
Salute.
That's awesome. The heat comes in there. It's not burning your tongue.
No.
Like you said, that tastes really good. This is a keeper. Well, we're gonna eat this up. Nothing is going to waste, believe me. Delicious sauce, great techniques. Nick, thank you so much for coming on. This episode is brought to you by Maine Catering Events. So this has been A Man in a Van with a Pan. I'm your host, Joey Tuna. Be sure to subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss a dish. And until next time, signing off.
Bon appetit, everyone, and thanks for coming to Maine for the visit. Iodized salt and margarine, get in your cabinets and throw them out. Very important not to buy pre-chopped garlic. That stuff burns. I will say this, if you burn your garlic, get rid of it. Anyone can burn your mouth. We're here to generate flavor.